Stone walls do not a prison make, nor iron bars a cage, but they help. They help. Actually, this is my doctor's idea. When he says strict diet, he means strict diet. The saw came in the traditional way, inside a cake. Have you ever had a piece of caloryless cake? I should have eaten the saw and used the cake to bludgeon my way out. However, I do not want to concern you with my petty problems, but with those of Paula Hudson. Paula was one of those persons who had never spent a day in jail or even been given a parking ticket. Then one day she found herself at the wrong end of the finger of suspicion. You will see Paula's story in a moment. It is called Mink, from the fur of the same name. Good evening. Tonight's story is called The Babysitter. You know, I don't think taking care of a baby is any great chore at all, if you are properly prepared. I bring my comforts with me. A portable radio, a few books, a hot lunch, a cold drink, a heavy mallet, and if that fails, earplugs. Good heavens, I forgot the baby. Stay right where you are. I'll be back. My last quarter. I've been frightfully lucky this evening. Now, if they would invent a machine that I could play using orange seeds and cherry pits, I'd be perfectly happy. All the foregoing will immediately seem justified, appropriate, clever, and even dignified when I tell you that tonight's narrative is about a gambler. It is called the longshot. If you like to bet when the odds are high and the risks great, you will appreciate our hero's philosophy. But if you prefer to put your money on a sure thing, listen to this friendly tip about a highly touted product. So much for the case of the stolen stone. I think I'll give up my diet. Exercise, that's it. I think I'll take up sports again. I'm quite an athlete, you know. I particularly excel in chess, falconry, wife-beating, that sort of thing. Thank you for coming. Please call again. Our next visiting hours will be just 1 week from tonight. Good night. And now I suppose you babies who have just put the sitter to bed are wondering about Mr. Nash. He escaped in his automobile, but not for long. He was soon arrested for failing to yield the right of way. Well, he wasn't exactly arrested. You see, it was a train that he failed to yield to. And now, children, if you aren't naughty, and if the rabbit doesn't get drunk drinking too much carrot tea and fall on the elephant's trunk, next week I'll tell you another story. Good night. Good evening. I've been examining the fingerprints on the inside of your television screen. Very unusual. They're all thumbs. That's it. They must have been left by your television repairman. You know, I could use this to watch television. I have a 27-inch set with an 8-inch screen. It also has an adjustment for color. The adjustment consists of a palette and brush, and the viewer simply fills in the numbered squares. It takes a very deft hand. Tonight's tale is provocatively captioned Decoy. Do I pique you? I hope so. A program host should always be a good picker. In watching this story, I want you to pay particular attention to the three undraped ladies who dance in the final scene, because one of these young ladies has since married a titled Englishman, and her face is now quite well known.
Hold it, wait a minute. Look, Jack, I think you've got much too much fill light. I mean, look, this is supposed to be a night scene. Yes, it's full of daylight. Quiet back there. Oh, I beg your pardon. Oh, good evening. We wanted to take you behind the scenes for a moment to show you how we make our films. The friendly cooperation of many, many people is needed to bring you these stories. Prop men, makeup men, electricians, cameramen, all part of a team. I'm very proud of them, and they in turn... You know, I sometimes consider getting out of this business. Now, about tonight's show, our story is entitled... Oh, but the title's unimportant. Tonight's story concerns, well, small matter. I'm sure you will enjoy our story, but first, well, if you've been watching this program, I'm certain you always know when we have but first. Here it is. Oh, good evening. I hope you don't mind, but I have to eat on the job tonight. We're terribly rushed, but no matter how busy, I think the least one can do is to dress properly. Tonight's supper show is called The Derelicts, and there isn't much to tell you about it. Naturally, we shall populate our stage with a few delinquents. Rabbit. I could have pulled that out of the hat. Isn't it lovely? All my fellow workers, prop men, electricians, and so on, bought this and presented it to me. Next week, we shall be back with another story. Join us then. That is, if you have nothing better to do. Did you ever have the feeling that you were being watched? Observe closely. No eyelid. He never sleeps. Obviously an ideal audience. Unfortunately, he doesn't watch television. That's true. He isn't watching me. He's watching you to see if you're watching me. Please don't misunderstand. I love television. As a performer, that is. But I feel the wrong person is being paid. Actors receive salaries, but the viewers, the people who do the really hard work, don't make a cent. It seems to me that television is exactly like a gun. Your enjoyment of it is determined by which end of it you're on. Tonight we plan to tell a story about this gun and what a very ordinary man did with it in the course of 24 hours. Good night.